The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party is reportedly considering the expulsion of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, from the party. Apparently, there's been an aggregation of positions, a consensus within the party, that the time has come to expel the former governor of Rivers State in order to properly reposition it for the forthcoming general election in 2027. Okechukwu Osuaha is Deputy National Legal Advisor of PDP, and he joins us now to discuss the said plan to expel Nyesom Wike. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you for having me.
Well, can you tell us a bit more about this plan that we are hearing of? What are the key reasons behind this plan, and why now? Why is the party considering that step now, considering how long your party has been in crisis?
Thank you so much. For me, I'm just hearing this speculation or this news about suspension from you for the first time. Because as far as I'm concerned, before any action is taken in our party, PDP, there's always a process or procedure, and there is organs of the party, legitimate organs of the party, as provided in our constitution, the constitution of the PDP. So I think the last NEC meeting we had, the 102 meeting, I was present, I'm a member of NEC. I still remember the decisions we took, all the resolutions, nothing bordered on any suspension of the former the Minister of FCT, the former governor of Rivers State. In fact, in the last NEC meeting, there was a consensus agreement that everybody will work together. We should maintain peace so that we can do whatever we do to put our house in order and also pursue what we are looking for, our party to be formidable enough to contest the elections, be able to capture government in 2027. So I don't know. There has never been any NEC meeting or any NWC meeting. So where did that news or that information emanate? Because I know a lot of people, even those who are asking for, who are demanding maybe for any suspension, they have acted in an unlawful manner. Even there has been a lot of anti-party activities most of those people have done in the past. In fact, there was a time a disciplinary committee was set up, headed by Tom Ikimi, and then the disciplinary committee up to today, we don't have any report. They have not even given any report to NEC. So I don't know where they gathered that information. That's what I can tell you.
It might just...
what offense that will warrant anybody to consider or talk about expulsion or suspension.
You know, we were wondering the same thing as well, because just as Timmy Tokpa mentioned, this isn't the first batch of anti-party activities that Wike has engaged in the last 3 years or so. So we're wondering if the timing doesn't have anything to do with his recent bad PR or face-off with the military yesterday. But that's actually not my question. We want to talk about the PDP and, of course, your efforts to put the party back together. Can you give us some kind of update on the status of the Federal High Court's Abuja's decision, the ruling that reportedly restrained PDP from holding the national convention in Ibadan? Has the party filed a stay of execution or an appeal? And what is the core ground of the appeals? Can you give us an update?
Thank you so much. I will answer your question. But before then, I want to let you know the party, we have had a leadership failure in the past. And the law says you cannot sleep on your right and also begin to demand your right. So nobody talks about any suspension at this point in time. Because there was a time, most of those stakeholders and most of those party leaders have done anti-party activities. Some of them even went and joined ADC meetings, attended ADC meetings, while our party is not considering any alignment for now, because our party is strong and we are intact. Then going back to your question, all these issues we are having and all these problems is all about, our party is a party that obeys rule of law. But sometimes some individuals who want to do things arbitrarily and with impunity and by their whims and caprices. we had a plan. We were planning for convention, and because of some issues that arose, some aggrieved party members went and approached the Federal High Court, Abuja, and the Federal High Court, had that matter, and there was a trial. So, and even all the parties were asked to come and make their defense. So finally, even the defendants, they came up and did their defense. And the court gave a judgment, an unambiguous and a clear judgment, told our party that the matter that was before them was not bordering on internal affairs of the party. That the matter before the court, the Federal High Court, was on a violation of the extant laws of the land, the violation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the violation of the Electoral Act, and the violation of the Constitution of the party. That the party was not obeying the rule of law. That all the things we had done was infringing on the fundamental rights of some people, of the members of the party, and also exclusion. That a lot of members of the party are feeling, disenfranchised. So based on that, they gave judgment emphatically that the party should put on hold that convention, and we should obey the law and go back to our house and put our house in order, put things in order, and then do some congresses in some states where congresses have not been done, and do our proper alignment and doing our zoning formula and put things in order before ever we will do any convention. Even the court went further, to give an injunction barring INEC from observing whatever the party will do, or even the convention. It is very clear. We're in a democracy, and democracy must try by the rule of law. We cannot afford to be disobeying court orders. So I expected even our former national chairman and some of the leaders to approach the to go back to appeal court if they were not satisfied with the judgment, but they didn't do that. But I know that the plaintiffs to that matter have even appealed in that matter. What they did was to go to another court in Oyo State, a court that has a concurrent jurisdiction with the Federal High Court, and got an ex parte motion, an ex parte order, an order asking the party to go ahead with the convention, which is unlawful, which is not right. It's an abuse of court process. How can you ask a court of coordinate jurisdiction, we give another order to set aside or override a judgment a competent court has given? What I expected them is to ask for stay of execution and make an appeal to the appellate court in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that is it. For now, the party has come out. The acting national chairman, Abdurrahman Muhammad, has issued a statement and even sent a report to the INEC that the party is not going along now for any convention, that we are trying to do things in order, bring the stakeholders together, reconcile all the parties, all the leaders of the party, and put things in order before you can talk about convention. Because if you do convention, you have not done congresses in some states, especially in the southeast, both Ebonyi and Anambra, even the southeast convention, Ekiti state, you have not done convention. It tantamount to excluding people and disenfranchising people who are going to be the delegates that will come to that convention. It is an anomaly, and that is the position of the party for now.
No, very well said. But then I'm wondering, do this recurring legal and leadership crisis in the PDP indicate deeper structural problems, within the PDP that go beyond individual ambitions? If so, how can this be tackled?
We have a national legal advisor of the party, as provided by the Constitution. Each issue, when issues arise, especially legal matters, he gives legal opinion, and we must be abide by that legal opinion because he was elected in accordance with the Constitution of the party to do all the legal representation of the party in any matter that comes before a court. So what we are having is all about people not trying to obey the rule of law. It is wrong in a democratic society. That's why we said we are not going for a convention for now, and we should obey that court order, court judgment, until all the legal matters is exhausted before we talk about convention. What we are doing now, even the acting national chairman is talking about how we can do those congresses in some of those states where congresses have not been done, and then put our house in order, do things properly, because there are legal consequences. Our national legal advisors have given legal opinion and other legal experts. We must follow the law. You don't do things arbitrarily and unlawfully. So when we do things properly, we can be able to do convention and produce national officers that can manage the affairs of the party in the next 4 years. That even apart from that judgment of the Federal High Court, there's another judgment that came up yesterday. That judgment that involved a former governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Lamido, who was a founding member of PDP. He wanted to contest for the national chairman of PDP. He went to buy the form, to purchase form, and he was denied the right of purchasing form. He was excluded. He approached a court, and that court gave judgment yesterday in his favor and said that there's no way you can go for convention and excluding the party members. I remember in 2021 when I contested for this position, National Deputy Legal Advisor, I went to the office of the National Organizing Secretary and bought my form. But do you know that right now, even those planning for that convention, they produce forms and kept it by themselves, issuing forms to the only people that they recognize, their friends and their associates. They didn't even throw the form open. Even the office of the National Organizing Secretary was not even aware about the production of form. Those things are anomalies. It is not proper and it cannot be tolerated and it cannot be allowed.
Was the Abdul Rahman's emergence as PDP chairman. How many NWC members actually even supported him?
Yes, Abdul Rahman, how did he come about? How did he come about? Because after that Federal High Court judgment, like I've stated ab initio, I expected the leaders of our party, especially the former national chairman and his NWC, to call a meeting and call for a reconciliation and negotiation, bring all the warring factions and the parties together. But they didn't do that. And what I now saw, they went and said that purportedly claimed that they have suspended the national secretary of the party. They have suspended the national legal advisor, the national organizing secretary, and even myself, which I did not even know. I had it in the social media. There was no due process or procedure. No allegation of any crime was even inferred on me. No fair hearing, no panel was, even a disciplinary committee was not even set up. I was not even given a chance or anybody to come and defend myself. Then based on that, the national secretary, who has the constitutional right according to section 36 of our constitution to issue notices of meeting, issued an emergency NWC meeting with the organizing secretary. They called an emergency meeting. In that meeting, they suspended the former national chairman, Ambassador Damagu, and even the national publicity secretary. So in that meeting, they were able to appoint an acting national chairman of the party, Abdurrahman Muhammad. And that's why he emerged, because in the constitution, he provided that in the absence or if the removal of the national chairman, if the chairman is not in office, the deputy from that zone will act. And then Abdurrahman was the national vice chairman, not central. So he now was appointed the acting national chairman. That is the position. So right now, he is steering the affairs of the party. And he made a statement, even issued a notice to INEC, that there is no convention for now. He's trying to put our house in order, reconcile all the parties. That is what is happening right now.
Okay, very well said. But then I'm wondering, how will all this crisis that the PDP is experiencing and, of course, all the legal uncertainties affect your party's readiness to present a united front ahead of the 2027 election? I'm asking this because each time we have anyone from your party, you keep talking about reconciliation, putting your house in order. But I'm very sorry to say this, but you're beginning to sound like a broken record. We've heard this time and time again, and at every general election, it seems the PDP keeps suffering losses over and over again. So what's different this time?
Yes, I know. It's a pity. It's unfortunate. It's all about, let me tell you, in democracy, there's that rule of law. And that's why people must obey laws, extant laws of the land. When I read law, it said that society shall not be governed by the whims and caprices of individuals, but by laws. So what has been happening in my party, I've said it in different forums, that is all about people allowing their personal interests to override the collective interests of the party. What do you say? You said reconciliation. I've said it. There was a time in a NEC meeting, we set up a reconciliatory committee a reconciliation committee and even a disciplinary committee. What did they do? They still came up with, there was no tangible report that they brought. You're talking about expulsion. You go there, you say, I've expelled this person, I've suspended this person. It's not proper. Why don't we do things properly? And that's why we approach court, because there cannot be anarchy or disorderliness. The law says if you are aggrieved, you seek redress in a court or competent jurisdiction. A court has given a judgment, yes, that we must obey that judgment of the court. If we are reconciling, we bring the parties together. Let there be give and take, negotiations, and not you just stand and say, I'm expelling the national secretary, I'm suspending the national organizing secretary, I'm suspending the national legal advice. And these are critical positions. In fact, there was a time we were having issues concerning the national secretary. We approached INEC. INEC is the agency, the institution that is bothered with elections in Nigeria and regulation of political parties. INEC advised us properly that the office of the national secretary is so fundamental and critical that he must issue notices to INEC and issue notices for meetings of NWC, NEC meeting, convention, that he brings in the annual report of the party to INEC, that he caused the issuance of correspondences to INEC. So he has how can you leave him out of this the question? Even the National Organizing Secretary is very critical. He organizes all these congresses, every other actions of the party. The National Legal Advisor is so critical. So these are things, how can you expel them? How can you suspend them at this critical point in time? We need to bring everybody together. That's just the major thing. Okay, look at the rumor now. You want to expel, you want to suspend or expel the former governor of Rivers State. Have you ever come up with an offense? Because in law, you must tell somebody the offense he has committed, and you have to give him a chance to come and defend himself in fair hearing, principle of fair hearing. You just say, I will expel, I will expel. Is it the way to do something? A party that we want to rescue Nigeria from the bad governance and catastrophic governance of APC. We want to take over the power in 2027. And our house, we are having these squabbles. That's why the acting national chairman right now, Abdulman Muhammad, has a Herculean task to bring everybody together, reconcile all the parties, and move ahead. That's what I'll tell you.
Well, Barrister Okechukwu Osuaha, the PDP National Legal Advisor, well, we thank you for joining us this afternoon, and all the best with the PDP and resolving your internal crises.